going on, everybody? It's your boy Ty Ray, and I got a real special guest with me here today on Check the Rock podcast. I got my girl Symone with Sports, Symone Stanley. Hey, Symone, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good myself. So you've had a plethora of jobs and different positions as far as like in the sports industry, and some not. I know you did some HR work when you were at NC State. You graduated from NC State with a bachelor's of science in sports. What is it? Sports administration.
Sports management, administration, same thing.
Sports administration, fitness, all that, right? And then you also got your master's degree at Georgia State as well, right?
That's in the process.
Got you in the process of getting your master's degree from Georgia State. Got you. So you've been a digital reporter. You've done some freelance journalism. You've also done some color commentating as well. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. Went to school in Raleigh at NC State for undergrad. Like you said, majored in sports management. Did a lot of different things in undergrad. Got a lot of experience. Once I graduated, moved down here to Atlanta. Been in Atlanta for 3 years now. Just you know how it is out here trying to get to it.
Most definitely, most definitely. I did not know you was from Greensboro, North Carolina. I don't know why I thought you were from Georgia. Maybe because you currently live in Georgia. Maybe that's why I thought that. But I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. So that's pretty cool. Interesting fact about that. So, I know you touched on it just a little bit, but what made you get into sports? It seems like you could have went any direction you wanted to go. HR, different things. What made you want to get into sports, specifically reporting and journalism?
Well, honestly, that was the only thing I ever had any interest in my whole life. The only thing I've ever been interested in was sports. The only thing that could keep my attention span and still very short attention span that I have. So I always knew, even before I got to college, that I wanted to do something in sports related. I didn't know exactly, but I already knew I was going to major in sports management, have some kind of career in sports when I went to college. And then I'm just really just a talker. I'm really someone who's always talking. So I just meshed well. Like my two things, talking and sports, went together.
But have you played any sports yourself? Tried it out? Played any bit?
Yeah, I played sports in high school,
Okay.
not past high school though.
What'd you play in high school?
So I ran track and cross country. I did basketball before, but I didn't make the high school basketball team. A little politics, you know how that go.
Yeah. It's a lot of politics. I can definitely agree with you on that. So I'm with you on that. Now, it's something behind you. I don't mind the NC State, right? NC State, I can rock with that. But it's something behind you that I can't kind of rock with. What's up with the Eagles stuff back there? What's going on?
What you mean? That's
So
me.
you a Philadelphia Eagles fan?
Die hard.
Okay, got you. Y'all winning y'all division this year?
Come on now.
I
Winning
I,
the
got- I
division,
got that.
you
What you
got
say?
what?
And I said I got to ask. Are y'all winning the division?
Winning the division, like I said, is the bare minimum. That's
Okay.
the bare minimum for us this season.
The bare minimum. So what's the ceiling?
The Super Bowl.
Wow. See,
Like winning the division is that shouldn't even be a box to check. That's like something that should be guaranteed. Like winning the divisions will not be an achievement for us. That's a requirement. That's something that's understood.
I will say this, and then I guess we can move on to something else. I do have y'all winning the division.
And people say I have y'all winning the division, like that's
I
a
do.
success, or like we should be glad they have us winning
I
the
mean,
division.
no, because to me, it's one thing I'm not for certain about. I think the rest of your team is fine. I'm not 100% sure about your quarterback. I like Jalen Hurts. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if he could be successful.
Nobody is 100% certain about Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts isn't who we have to be certain about. We got to be certain about Jason Kelsey, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Miles Sanders. All the playmakers around Jalen Hurts are there. Jalen Hurts just has to not be a dead body.
Yes, I agree with you. I feel like this is there's no excuses for him this year. I'll just put it like that. He has the weapons. Let's see him
No,
produce.
I agree 1,000%. It's no excuse. But I don't think Jalen Hurts doesn't have to be exceptional quarterback. He just can't lose us the game. We don't need Jalen Hurts to be a Patrick Mahomes. We just need Jalen Hurts to not throw 5 interceptions or throw the game away. I think now I understand what you're saying. He's not like proven as like a long-term franchise quarterback, but when people say that the only thing knock on the Eagles is Jalen Hurts, I don't think they realize everything we have around Jalen Hurts. All we need him to do is be a game manager.
No, I mean, I say that because, and I can say the same thing about my team, right? I'm a 49ers fan. So I feel like we should be competing for an NFC Championship Super Bowl as well, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the one question mark on our team is our quarterback. Now, unlike our quarterback, your quarterback has played, right? I
Mm-hmm.
just don't feel like I like Jalen Hurts, and I do think Jalen Hurts could play. I like them at Alabama and at Oklahoma. I just don't know if he's not consistent enough for me. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he can't get the job done. It's just to me, I need him to be more consistent. You get what I'm saying? And take that next step in evolution. And before the excuse was he didn't have the weapons, which I agreed with, especially his rookie season. He really didn't have the weapon. Last year he had Devontae Smith. Or what, I don't know how you say his name, but Devontae Smith. Uh,
Oh, and
and
everything we call him Devonta.
yeah, yeah. So he had him, and he played pretty good. I see y'all just traded Jalen Rager to what they trade him to? They traded him to First
Like,
Cousins. They traded him to the Vikings. So that you just traded Jalen Rager to the Vikings. So but you do have, like I said, you got AJ Brown. You do have some weapons. You named a few other weapons. So I definitely do think this is a put up or shut up. This is third year. He should be more consistent. So I definitely do agree with you. So moving on to what's next. You do have two shows that you do. I'm pretty sure you might have to do more shows than that, but you have two shows that I do know about. Just Swinging, which is more of a baseball show, and then you have Symone with Sports. Tell me about your two shows and how they came about.
so Symone with the Sports, that's my YouTube show where I'm mainly covering the Eagles. Cover, the NFL, NBA in the whole, but like the Eagles is the main, my main focus on that platform. So that's just where I post daily videos, just, reacting, reporting the news, some other like random stuff here and there, maybe like vlogs, and stuff like that. During the season, I do like before each game during the season, I'll do a weekly breakdown of the opponent, like keys to winning the game, of course, post game reactions. So yeah, then Just Swinging is my new podcast. So I work full time at Lake Point Sports, more specifically with Prep Baseball Report covering high school and prep baseball. So I'm around baseball all the time and meeting all these people, players. A lot of the players that I do cover, they end up going to top D1 schools or they end up going right to the
Okay.
league. Some of the players that I've been covering, just a few of them got drafted in the 2022 MLB draft.
I seen
So
that. Yep.
I started that podcast just, because I'm around it all the time and I meet so many different people. And, it's not really that many baseball like platforms out. There's a lot of like culture basketball platforms and
Oh no,
there's a
you good.
lot of cultural like basketball podcasts, a lot of cultural like football podcasts, but there's not really that many, if any, cultural baseball podcasts.
Got you. You're 100% correct. I do not know of one cultural baseball podcast, and yours one. Before we talked, I actually did watch some of it, and I did see that you did have a couple of guys. I think it was 4 or 5 guys that you talked to that just got drafted. So, I mean, that's dope. That's dope. Like I say, doing something that nobody else is really doing and making a lane, and I think that's great. So, something else I want to talk about. The retiring. We I think oftentimes in sports we get spoiled by being able to watch people and not necessarily being as appreciative as maybe we should be, especially in basketball. I know people always complain about LeBron, but they're going to be sad when he goes. So,
Right.
we got the retiring of a, I call a legend. Some people would say the greatest athlete ever. Some would say the greatest woman athlete ever. Like I said, Serena Williams. What you think about Serena Williams retiring?
It's crazy. It's just like, when you growing up and you're watching these people, because Serena's one of the athletes that I watched growing up, and kind of like not necessarily at the very start of her career, but kind of in the young part of her career was kind of like when I was younger,
Mhm.
watching sports, and then seeing her full circle and now coming to retirement. You don't think of like people like that. You think they just go on forever. Like you never even think there's going to be a time when Serena's not going to be playing anymore. So I mean, it's a hard time. I hate change. I hate like things coming to an end. I know it's an exciting and probably bittersweet time for her. I heard her on one podcast saying like, she has a kid now and she has a husband and a family, and playing on her level, you have to be focused and dedicated to that craft 100% of the time, and that's not something that you can always do when you have a child. You want to spend as much time as you can, especially in her daughter's like a toddler, so that age you
Yeah.
want to be around all the time, and especially with your family, you can't train to the highest level that you might want to train to. So she was saying how she's super excited for this transition. But of course, us as fans, we're spoiled. We want to see her play all the time, and it's gonna be
Yes.
hard. I can't imagine. I know it's always something new, somebody new, something new always comes around. But it's just so hard to imagine anybody coming after Serena, like being as huge of an icon as she was.
I definitely agree with you. So I do want to transition over to football because football is right around the corner. And it's hard to believe that, in a little over a week's time that we'll be having our first, actually, a week and one day from now, we'll have our first Thursday night game. So, before we do this, I know the big talk has been, should Lamar Jackson play without his contract? Do you think, well, two-part question. Do you think Lamar Jackson will get his contract before their first game? And second, should he play the first game without his contract?
It's like a double-edged sword in my opinion. Lamar Jackson is a very special talent, and you can't imagine there's not many Lamar Jacksons that come along, but there is a danger to not playing. And that one danger is somebody coming in and taking your spot, and then while you're out, even if players get injured for a while, sometimes they come back and their spot isn't there, and that's going to be extremely hard for somebody like Lamar Jackson's, for somebody to come in and take his spot. But you do in the back of your mind want to be in the game so you can keep showing to the team and showing to the fan base why you deserve that money. But at the same time, you don't want to play without a contract, especially somebody like Lamar Jackson, who does sadly suffer with injuries. He got injured last season. So if he does play without a contract and does get hurt, does get banged up, then they're like, we're not paying you, obviously, because you're hurt. So it's a very tough position for Lamar Jackson to decide what he wants to do. If I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I'm most definitely paying Lamar Jackson. He's not only Baltimore, but he's also the NFL. Not saying like he's the face of the NFL like LeBron James is to the NBA, but when you think of the NFL, when you're excited to watch football, even if you're not a fan of the Baltimore Ravens or have any ties to the Ravens, if the Ravens are on, you want to watch Lamar Jackson,
Oh,
period.
yeah.
So I think the Ravens would be dumb not to keep him happy, as much as money and eyeballs and revenue that he's brought to Baltimore.
Yeah, well, I would say this, right? For me, I don't think he should play without a contract. But two, it's tough. He's asking for, Deshaun Watson got $230 million guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong by a few numbers, right? That's what Lamar Jackson wants.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that's just what the issue is right now. They don't know. I don't know if they don't have the cap space. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily know a whole lot about Baltimore, but I just know that he wants $230 million guaranteed. He just watched Kyler Murray get paid, who got drafted after Lamar Jackson. And like I said,
What did Kyler Murray get? He didn't get that crazy bond.
no, he didn't get the crazy guaranteed money, but I do know he did. I can look it up real quick. I do know he did get a pretty big amount. He got 230 million, but it wasn't. I don't know how much was guaranteed. I want to say got $230 million. Oh, he only got 100. He got 100, over $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
$160 million guaranteed. That's what it is.
Lamar should definitely, and these other dudes, I can see why, like somebody, a player, and they're like, this player over here got this much, and I'm better than him. I can definitely see why you want to get paid comparable to where you rank at your position. But at the same time, these other teams are dumb. These other organizations are dumb for giving these players that money. I would never give Deshaun Jackson anything where near the Cleveland Browns gave him. And
Oh, you mean Deshaun Watson? Yeah.
Kyler Murray is overpaid, in my opinion, based off what you said. But I can see why Lamar Jackson's like, I'm better than Kyler Murray. I want Kyler Murray money. But I can also see why the Ravens are like, the Cardinals shouldn't give Kyler Murray that money. We're not giving it to you either. So it's a tough spot. I mean, you want to get paid to where you rank, but that's not how all front offices work. Some front offices are more logical and not just going to. These long-term giant contracts to these players are insane, especially now when these players don't get happy, then they want to force their way out. They want to get traded. And it's like, you wanted that money 2 years ago.
I mean, I definitely get what you're saying. Lamar, he's an MVP. Out of him, Deshaun Watson and Kyler Murray, only one person's an MVP. So I definitely get the aspect of it. I can get Lamar winning that. Now, I do feel like if he did have a regular agent like most people, I do feel no disrespect to whoever is representing him. I do feel like if he had a regular agent like most people, he would have gotten paid or we would have gotten somewhere by now. But I mean, honestly, Baltimore holds all the leverage in this situation. They can franchise him again, kind of like the Steelers did with Le'Veon Bell. So I do get it. So one of the last questions I do want to ask you, I do want to kind of transition over to basketball just a little bit, and I want to talk about Donovan Mitchell. So Utah did come up the other day and say that they do want to escalate things a bit to get rid of Donovan Mitchell. And I do know that what's the guy's name? RJ Barrett did just sign an extension, so he's no longer available in that trade. Will Donovan Mitchell get traded?
At this point, I don't see Donovan Mitchell getting traded because the landing spots have all dried up. I don't see the Knicks were one of those teams that were, in limbo. They could have made a move for Donovan Mitchell, but like you said, them extending RJ Barrett just signaled that that's not happening. I definitely want to see Donovan Mitchell somewhere else because obviously Utah with Rudy Gobert wasn't working, and now Rudy Gobert is gone, and it's just nothing there left for Donovan Mitchell. He's one of the players I do like and enjoy to watch. But where would he go? There's no spot left. The Hawks were a team that were interested in Donovan Mitchell pairing somebody up with Trae Young, but they went and got DeJounte Murray, so that's off the table. The Sixers were somebody looking for, maybe they won't keep James Harden, and maybe they'll bring in a younger point guard for Embiid, but they kept Harden. They extended Harden. The Nets had their whole thing. Maybe Kyrie could have got traded and Donovan and Kevin Durant. But now it's looking like the Nets, I just don't see anywhere like that big push would have happened in the beginning of the offseason. So the well just seemed like it dried up for him.
Got you. I know one team that was a destination earlier, and I don't know exactly what's been going on there. And they've been very quiet this offseason. I think the Heat wouldn't be a bad destination for Donovan Mitchell. I do know they did want him, but I do know they do not want to give up Bam or Jimmy Butler. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. But I agree with you. The Knicks, I think the Knicks was leading as far as his destination goes. But with the re-signing of RJ Barrett, I don't know if they have the assets. I don't know if you want to put a package around Obi Toppin and some draft picks for Donovan Mitchell. I don't think that would get it done, especially with Danny Ainge as the general manager. His greedy behind. He's going to want as much as, he's going to want as much as possible. Like I think Danny Ainge might have messed the trade market up with all he got for Rudy Gobert. Was ridiculous. And I don't know, man. Like, it's some other stars that wouldn't even go for that. And I don't even consider Rudy. I consider Rudy Gobert to be very overrated, but that's just my opinion.
I agree.
So tell the people where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter, Symone with a Y _Stanley, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok at Symone with the sports.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go on your TikTok and see these Eagles takes, and if I see one that's not good, I'm gonna come on. I'm just messing with you. But I definitely get it. That's your squad. Shout out to the Eagles. Do you have a basketball team?
LeBron.
There ain't no team, LeBron.
Wherever LeBron at.
Oh, man. Here we go.
I'm more a fan of like players when it comes to the NBA, but I'm an Eagles fan, so I follow the Sixers because that's where my fan base is. So definitely the Sixers, and but I'm mainly more like it's more like players. You know how the NBA is.
Nah, I got you. I was just messing with you. I am a Lakers fan. I was a Lakers fan
See, I'm
before
not a
LeBron.
Lakers fan, but I
Yeah, yeah.
I rock with LeBron. So like
I
LeBron
mean,
there.
yeah. I mean, I'm a Lakers fan now, and I'll be one after he leaves. I mean, I do appreciate the one title he got us, but LeBron done jacked us up too. But that's a topic for. I mean, you can roll your eye. I'm just saying. I mean, he the one that wanted Russ to come, and you like really?
Yeah, that was. I could have told you that wasn't gonna
I
work.
mean, right now I'm mad at everybody. Russ, Jenny Buss,
Y'all been on
Bron,
that so far.
AD hurt all the time. Uh, Kobe's agent. Yeah, I called him Kobe's agent. I ain't even gonna say his real name. Kobe's agent. Yeah, he's terrible. But I mean, I get it, But hopefully we can get this trade for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield for Westbrook and some picks. I don't know.
If that happened, that'd be crazy.
I mean, I think it definitely would too. I mean, they could just start line up with what Pat Bev, Buddy Hield, LeBron, AD, and then Miles Turner or somebody else. I don't know, right? So I think that would be great. But so I do want to before we go, I do want to ask you, what you think about your boy was on the Sports Illustrated cover with his two sons. How you feel about that?
That's just dope. I mean, for him to be um his sons already, I mean, I don't know like where they rank and stuff like in high
Hmm.
school, but for his sons to already be like following in his footsteps and just to be going through that journey with your kids, that just has to be like a dope feeling.
Yeah, I think that's something that you kind of dream of,
Mm,
and I don't think it's ever been a reality for anybody. Like, as good as Jordan was, he was never on those Sports Illustrated with his sons or
right.
anybody else that I could think of, So I mean, I think it's dope. I do think his two sons are good. I know a lot of people is not high on Bronny, but I think Bronny will be fine. He's just not 6'9" like LeBron. So
Right.
I mean, I definitely get it. But all right. So like she said, follow her on Instagram, Symone with the Sports, on Twitter, Symone with a Y _Stanley, and like she said, Symone with the Sports on TikTok. So hit her up, follow her up, DM her, harass her about them Eagles, even though they will
They
win the
don't want that
division.
smoke. They don't want
I
that
mean,
smoke.
y'all gonna win the division by default because it's career over for the Reds. I mean, not Redskins. I don't want to be. Let me be politically correct. The Commanders, right? The Commanders, career over. Giants, they've been trash, and Cowboys. All right, whatever.
Shout out to
So
y'all for beating the Cowboys for us though.
say what?
Shout out to y'all for beating the Cowboys for us.
I wish we could have got the Rams, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, but hey, it is what it is. I think we'll be back again this year. I do like the fact that we re-signed Jimmy G. We kind of keeping him around as an insurance policy. So I think it's smart because I didn't know who the backup was, and if it was what's the dude name?
Isn't Trey Lance?
No, Trey Lance is starter. But if
Oh,
we would, but I don't know who the backup was. Backup before Nate. I don't know. I can't remember the dude's name. Oh, CJ Beathard. That's who the backup was before. Like, man, if we have to go down to that, it's terrible. So at
right.
least now we can do Trey Lance if he's not doing great, which we play Chicago, we gonna smack them. And then we play somebody else terrible after that. So maybe his confidence will be up. I mean, we'll be fine. So I definitely do think that. But I do want to appreciate you for coming on the show today. I do appreciate you for rocking with me. And
Well,
make sure y'all go on our social media. Make sure y'all check her out. All right. We'll see y'all next time on Check the Rock.